I see this chaos creating opportunity. The call center advertiser or call center media buyer relationship is going to be bigger than ever right now, because the cost of everything's going up, and you got to make sure you're handling that properly. The price of a lead is going to be way more expensive, more than like. So you have your advertisers spending more for a lead, but has the call center actually stepped their game up?
I think of a call center, like a good call center, as like a sales team. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong today.
And so it's going to be that much more important that your agents are highly skilled and highly trained to be able to sell the products and services.
Hey guys, I just want to give a quick shout outs to our sponsors over at Ringba for sponsoring this video. And also I get a lot of questions about where to start with pay-per-call. This is where I recommend you start. The pay-per-call revolution, written by the founder of Ringba, Adam Young himself, who was a big affiliate before he started this awesome call tracking software company. So yeah, this is exactly what I recommend if you're new to pay-per-call. I have a free course as well, which you can see in the description below this video. But yeah, let's get back to the content.
All right, guys, I've got another return guest, Dave, AKA Nervous Mervis, AKA, or not AKA, but Stodolak, here with Adam Young. Super excited to have you, man. Thanks for
Very excited to be
joining
here.
us back. One of our first podcast guests on. Here we are. We've done a ton of business since. We've had a ton of fun since. We've been to probably 7 different countries together since.
Yeah.
So today I want to talk about not just call centers, because I believe that as much as we're going towards AI with a lot of like AI voice agents,
Yeah.
I do, now that I'm getting deeper in the call center side, I personally believe that it's going to be even more important going forward. And then also, what does that mean with compliance too? So here we are 18 months almost since our first podcast. What are the changes you've seen since, because you've been on the data side, so a lot of things are coming your way with compliance changes next year. What are you seeing changing now, and what do you believe is next in the industry of lead generation, pay-per-call, affiliate marketing?
Yeah, man. We fast forward go from where that when did we talk? May 2023,
May
I think it was,
2023.
man. To now, so many damn changes, man. Some good, some bad, but it is what it is. And it's the nature of the business, right? You gotta adapt, you gotta pivot and stay ahead of the trends. So to answer your question, what we're seeing is the data side. We have a company called Connecting the Dots. I mean, the data side there's been less demand for data. You know, there was a huge amount of demand earlier in the year. We were like, I thought we were gonna have a record-breaking year. We're having like big months, January, February, March. I think it was like a rush to get that going, but you're seeing a lot less of it now because I think everyone's trying to get ahead of the curve. We got a lot of our clients, especially the big clients, like we're talking about multi-billion-dollar roofing companies, solar companies, that again, the bigger you are, the bigger target you are. So they're not waiting to January 27th to get compliant. They're doing it now. They're doing it 90 days ahead of time. So with that being said, they want all their leads to come from one-to-one pages. They're not playing this game of aggregation or not. Some guys, though, I did have a meeting. I was in Vegas at a big home improvement show with a client. They're willing, I don't want to say roll the dice, but you got to be very careful, get the right kind of advice in the sense that from his understanding, and he's getting legal counsel on this, you can manually dial on aggregated leads. So they're thinking about using our call center for that. Because I have a call center, I think we run pretty well, and they have history with us, and they want to use us for that. So that's a long answer, but there's been a lot of changes going on, and people are like the days of wild west, I think, are going by the wayside.
Give context, because I'm sure not everyone listening is super dialed in with FTC regulations and TCPA and all these other things. So what is happening? If you could just explain it to like a third grader.
Yeah, so essentially to a third grader, that's tough. I didn't read that most Americans are like a fifth to seventh grade is where you want to be.
Give me a fifth grade level.
Yeah, so fifth grade level, all right. But we got a smarter audience here, so we'll see. So basically, make a long story short, one way I built my business was we would aggregate leads. We'd get leads from all these different places, different affiliates, and we would resell them to, like solar was big for us, right? Home improvement was big for us. Now that's going by the wayside. On the opt-in page, where it will say we have a landing page, U.S. Solar Savings. By clicking here, I authorize U.S. Solar Savings and up to 4 marketing partners to contact me. There was a hyperlink there. And then that enabled us to sell that to up to 4 companies, semi-exclusive lead. and we can then sell it as an age data lead.
Compliant, no.
Yeah, I mean,
no
as long
issues,
as
more or
long as
less.
you had the, it was actually, some guys are still playing games with that, but as long as you had your ducks in a row, you were good to go, right? That was the way it was being done. They made a new ruling, FTC passed it, one-to-one consent, where now it has to say, by clicking here, I authorize ABC Solar to contact me. Only ABC Solar can contact them. So that pretty much kills aggregating leads. It kills age data.
Means the value of a opt-in, not changes, but like shifts, right?
Yeah,
You have to price it differently. You can't sell it 4 times for $5.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to sell it one time for
One
20,
time.
whatever the market can support.
Exactly. I mean, and essentially, though, that should be better for the advertisers. Now you're dealing with someone that has more higher intent. They're not being bombarded by calls, right? Better experience for the end consumer, which is really what it's there for, right? They call it the closing of the lead gen loophole, because there was a loophole there, you know.
But what does this mean for a data broker?
Yeah, it changes the whole game. You got to.
There is no more brokering.
Yeah.
Data. It's done.
Pretty much.
Crazy.
And that's how I started in the business in late 2015, early 2016. I was brokering. You know, I created a lot of value brokering. I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't create the value I did, but it changes the game. So it makes it a lot tougher. So I think now it's kind of like maturity in the industry. I'm still in solar. There's been a lot of consolidation going on, but any industry goes through this kind of thing, right? You got to consolidate, become mature. So it weeds out all the bad actors, and the people that are doing stuff right, the cream's going to rise to the top. So, at first I was nervous, but I'm freaking excited now because we've been doing the right thing. We've been positioning ourselves properly, and that's one reason why I hustle so much and I travel so much, because, you know, when you got to stay ahead of the curve, ahead of the trends, and know what's going on. Get the right legal counsel. You know, talk to experts, talk to guys like Adam Young, talk to you, talk to me in the
I am
circles.
not legal counsel.
I'm not either.
But you know what's going on.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can help
yeah,
guide
yeah.
me and
Of
whatever.
course. Yes.
And that's the value of listening to these shows, these podcasts, the affiliate marketing show, your show, my show, is that we try to add value, man. That's how we grow. So yeah, it's kind of turned the whole game around. But the people that are doing stuff right, I think we're going to have the best years of our life in this industry right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people are worried about what you just said and how their business is going to go and what's going to happen. But the attitude you just exhibited is the one that will result in success. It is.
Yeah.
I am excited, and this is an opportunity, because there are going to be winners and losers, and the winners are going to win big before, and then bigger than before, and the losers are going to literally disappear in this case because you can't do these things anymore. And I know that fear gets a hold of people. I've seen it based on this, but this is going to create a whole new market, and a market that's sustainable.
Yep.
Right? And it's going to keep the people who don't want to do the right thing out of the industry. And those people are usually the ones that are responsible for all the problems, not just, you know, bad leads or fake leads or whatever. They don't pay their bills. They don't communicate. You know, I'm not pointing anyone specifically out here, but like that segment of the market's not really good for anybody. And so I completely agree with you. I'm super excited about it. And I think people that do pay attention and talk to other people in the industry and go to the shows and put in the effort are going to be just fine. There's so much opportunity right now. Like, you guys just told me some stuff that you're working on, and I'm just like, yeah, like that's amazing. This is going to be great. And like the opportunity is not smaller because of this. It's bigger because you can invest in what you're doing and it will last.
Yep.
Unlike, oh, I'm going to put 3,000 marketing partners on a page that no one reads and then sell them as exclusive leads and then sell the age data 65 times, and then Adam's phone gets 97 calls on a Tuesday, right? Like that is not, that's not sustainable. It never was going to be. So, yeah.
And you made me think of something. I think it gets really, you get rid of the hustlers, right? They're just trying to make a quick buck or whatever. Now you're talking, we all hustle. We're all of us here are hustling, right? All the most successful people hustle in some degree. But what I mean is that it's going to be a better product. It's going to be the people that actually add value rather than trying to make a quick deal here, a quick buck.
The guys that just come in, just broker at the most basic level and take a markup.
Yeah.
They're not adding value more or less. I mean, in some ways, sure.
No, they're skimming value.
They're skimming value.
They're not adding.
They're
value.
connecting, but you could probably find that buyer if you really wanted to. That anyway, often.
Correct. Yeah. So now you just got there's gonna be more value, consolidation. The cream's gonna rise to the top. And I just thought of something too, as you were talking about. Like when I got in solar in 2016. It was really like up and down. I caught my groove. I think it was like early 2019. It was like right after Trump had passed some tariffs. The industry took a dump. Right. I stuck around. I mean, at one point, I almost went out of business back in 2018. And
With solar direct marketing.
solar direct marketing, yeah, man, it got pretty tight because
Well,
of all this stuff.
let's for the audience. What happened was Trump put tariffs on imports from China of solar panels, right?
Correct, and that affected a lot of it affected the margins for solar companies. Some companies went out of business.
Yeah.
But how that affected me was that a lot of these smaller clients just went out of business. They weren't buying leads anymore. But it created some bigger groups. I'm not going to name names, but a couple groups went out of business completely. That created a void. The bigger groups that these guys, they responded by cutting costs. Maybe they had 1,000 employees. They went up to 500. They got sharper. What happened was they couldn't find leads anymore. So they went to groups like me, the smaller guys, and then we fill in that void. So I think that's what's going to happen here too. That the big groups are going to have. They're going to have these aggregators that they were buying leads from. They can't find those leads anymore. So they're going to have groups like us.
They can't use those leads
They
anymore.
can't use those leads anymore compliantly, right? So then that's going to create the people that have been doing the right things. They're gonna just rise up. It's almost like a stock. That's how Solar Direct was a stock back then. We probably would have been a penny stock, right? We were like down here, and then what happened was then we just freaking exploded. We made ink, 3 years in a row. But if it wasn't for that situation, which put people out of business, we wouldn't have been where we were. I don't know if I'd be in this industry anymore. Is what it comes down to. So at the end of the day, you have to be a student of this game. You can't just be looking to make a quick buck. You got to be listening to these. You got to be what we're talking about. You have to go to the speeches, watching industry experts talk. You got to be a real student of it. And if you are, you're not just gonna just survive. You're gonna thrive. So yeah, that's why I'm excited because it reminds me of what happened to me in 2018, 2019, and that was a big turning point for us. And I feel like 2025, I mean, we're working on some cool stuff. Like out of nowhere, the past 2 weeks, I'm freaking pumped about
Solution
that.
to a problem.
Solution to a problem. Yeah, that's a good example of that. So I'm pumped to go into 2025. I kind of want to get these holidays over with the elections because that's like the slow period of time.
Killing all my ass.
Yeah, it sucks to say that, right? For let's do Thanksgiving, Christmas again, but I can't wait to 2025. I think it's gonna be freaking bang up
Yeah, I'm
year.
super excited.
Yeah, good stuff.
I think the fundamental difference between these two archetypes, right? The ones that are looking for the quick opportunity and the ones that are willing to do something correctly is the thought process around short-term and long-term vision for their business. And to have a long-term vision for your business, you really have to sit down and think about what you're going to do, why you're going to do it, even better if you have a mission for your company. And you really have to be ambitious enough to be like, I'm going to have to hire some people. I'm going to build something. I'm going to invest something and risk something. The other side of it, they want no risk and quick reward, which is generally not sustainbut. And it's funny to say this because we're literally sitting in Miami right now, which is like the hub of exactly that, but as I went through my career over time, I experienced this a lot. I was an affiliate back in the day, and then Harrison and I had businesses, and the one we had right before Ringba, we were doing massive click feed arbitrage, and the rules changed, and the business died. And that ended up being one of the biggest gifts we ever received, because at that point, we both were like,
Gotta build.
Yeah, we got to build, man. Like, I don't want to do campaigns anymore. I want to build something sustainable. And, we paid the price for that vision in pain, right? You always do. But long term, it works out. And so if you have the courage to invest in yourself and to try and create that long-term vision, that's what really can change your life, right? And so I encourage people to think about, what do I want to build for the next 3 years, 5 years? Like, what do I have to invest? What can I use my skills to build that will stand the test of time? And it's a much better thing. Like, this, right? It's just a much better thing at the end of the day. And you can be proud of it too. And then you don't have these panic attacks like, my campaign's gone. Like, shit, what do? I got to rebuild. It's just like a totally different thing.
Yeah, you're not in constant reactive mode, and when you like that, it's like it sucks.
It's not fun.
It's not fun at all.
Constant
It's
roller
cortisol
coaster.
level. It's like it's not good, man. It's like it's good to be in control. That's what you're trying to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think are the naturally positioned winners and losers?
That's a good question.
Publishers, call centers, brokers, like of all these different parts of this industry, who's already set up in a position to win, who's like and probably should be in panic mode and rethinking what they're doing.
Well, I think anyone that's been doing business right is going to be okay at the end of the day, and even brokers, like if brokers really go up the value chain and create good partnerships, good alignments, they'll be okay.
Brokers are going to become more biz devs, though.
Yeah, more. I guess that's what it is. You got to shift. They got to shift the mindset to create more, go up the value chain. I mean, I'll give you a good example. I have a. I mean, just going to answer the other question. Who's going to really do well? I think media buyers that have been really dialed into a specific vertical, that have been doing things the right way, are going to do really well. I have a media buyer that we're cranking right now with home improvement, and we're going to really crush it in 2025. We're building a big team around this guy. And he was huge in solar. He was my number one solar guy for many, many years. And he got in some deal. I couldn't work for a bit, but now I can work from the home improvement. He's been doing one-to-one the whole time. He'd been doing one-to-one because he had this exclusive deal for like 5 years. So this one-to-one isn't anything new to him, right? So and he's already been doing 7 figures a month. So then you get in with a guy like me that knows biz dev, and I got a company, I've got the operation, I got the back end tools, I got a call center, I got all these different tools that he hasn't had, and I can help him scale from a 2-person, 3-person team to a 5 to 10-person team. Then you're talking about that's firepower, right? And it's not just him. I'm getting one good result of the LFG show. I've gotten some really good media buyers from this. I found like fantastic solar media buyer that we're doing like it's for solar 10, 12 grand a day is pretty good for solar to be doing, right? So the point is that I think that media buyers have been doing the right thing, that haven't been operating, with these BS ads that you see, free this, free that, whatever. People that have been able to run clean, and yet aggressive in the right way. Those are the ones that are going to benefit. And then talking about the biz dev people that could connect things together and do it the right way. They have a good operation, are gonna crush it too. And then advertisers that. I see a lot of advertisers, they just don't have the right people in the right seat. They might have the wrong affiliate manager or the wrong person managing their leads. Those are the ones that are going to get hurt. They're going to get exposed. And I mean, if you can if you have a client like that, don't be afraid to vocalize that to them. Listen, I want to make sure I protect you. I was in Aruba a couple weeks ago. One of my big roofing buyers was all worried about this TCP, the one-to-one. I got him on the phone with my partner, Ed, who's on the board member of Reach, because I know about this stuff. He's like another level on this stuff, and he was so grateful for that. And now, because of that conversation, that's why he wants to use my call center to do this other stuff for him, because he feels like, hey, these guys they're tight. They're on the board of Reach. We're making money with them. They've been helping us stay clear of these freaking glaciers that are out there. And that's what we gotta make sure you protect them. So I think that people that are really looking to think long term, like Adam said, looking at everyone that's a partner of theirs, whether it's an advertiser, whether it's an employee, whether it's a media buyer, whatever it is, how can you all benefit and have them see that vision? And that's really what I try to do. I try to espouse his vision. This is where we're going. This is what we have to steer clear of. Because listen, I've been burned. I've made stupid mistakes, and like it's just crazy how much money I pissed away from these mistakes. And I'm not afraid to say it. And I'm hoping that the audience gets that, because if you look at what you've done wrong in the past, and now's not the time to do that crap. Because the mistakes that I made back then are going to get, if I kept making those mistakes, they'd be amplified with these new rules. So I think the people that are doing stuff right, they're the ones that are going to be good. And the ones that aren't, they're the ones that are going to be exposed. But now's the time to really take personal inventory. We have, 3 months? Not even 3 months. 2.5 months left of this.
Would you say call centers are going to become more important as we go forward?
100%.
Why?
Because there's so many. Listen, I love call centers. I've made my career. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't start in the call center. But a lot of call centers just run. They run crazy by the seat of their pants, and then you get the other ones that are too conservative, that are like too scared, right? So you got to find that happy medium. But I think that the days solar grew tremendously because they were very aggressive. Everyone, their mothers got a solar call. Everyone in New Jersey got a call, and their grandmothers and like the deceased, everyone got a call. I'm telling you, man, it was bad. So the point is that they got away with this for a while. You can't do that crap anymore. And a lot of the companies that really blew up are the ones that, both good and bad, are the ones that were getting aggressive like that. So the point is, you need to have a call center that can dial aggressively or can contact the leads aggressively. I don't even know that changes the whole game. Now, as I say that, I don't even know that they got to be able to handle the leads properly, and they got to have the good quality assurance. They got to be using AI. I'm looking at AI tools for quality assurance to make sure, especially stuff that we're working with. You got to make sure calls aren't being coached. There can't be any sort of inference that the damn call is coached, and that's opposite from where I operate. I came from the world of hardcore sales, controlling conversations, tie downs. That looks good. That
But stuff still matters though, even in a vertical where it's more sensitive.
What's that?
Even in like a vertical or like working on a specific industry or offer, you still, I think a lot of times, like because I've worked with a lot of different buyers across different verticals, I find that the ones that are like, send me your leads and we'll pay you on a CP on a closed deal. A lot of them, like, I'll look at the numbers. I'll split the leads between two call centers. I'll get completely different outcomes.
Yeah, 100%.
And then I'll send both inbounds, and I'll hear the conversations like, oh, these guys are like not even. They're not controlling the conversation. They're letting it be an open-ended conversation. Whereas the other one, they're like they're more assertive. It's not like they're coaching, but they're asking the right leading questions to control the flow of the conversation. It can make a complete difference.
Yeah, 100%. So really, there's so many aspects of a call center, from the way you handle the lead to do you have enough agents on the campaign. I think what you're talking about sounds like in that situation, the call centers were just either overwhelmed, or they were just like a machine, just taking calls, and they weren't really paying attention to the quality, right?
Too many new agents.
So there's so many multiple layers to that, and then you have the quality assurance aspect. Then you need the right trainer. There's so many aspects to it. So I think now more than ever, the price of a lead is going to be way more expensive, more than likely, right? So you want to make sure
it should be more valuable.
More valuable
if it's handled correctly.
Correct. So so you have your advertisers spending more for a lead, but has the call center actually stepped their game up? Have they actually put in the process? If you're running a call center, now's the time to take that inventory as well. I'm doing that right now as we speak. I've been taking that inventory for the last month, and now it's starting to pay some dividends, especially on the stuff that we're working on. And I think it's going to pay even bigger dividends in January 2025, February 2025. So really, the call center advertiser or call center media buyer relationship is going to be bigger than ever right now, because the call center, everything's going up, and you got to make sure you're handling that properly. It's like concierge service, Yeah.
I think of a call center. I come from a fitness weight loss sales background, and those are tough sales. And it requires a lot of like the leading questions, and it's not like it can't be a hard sale, but it can't be a customer service sale often. We're not selling gym memberships. We're selling like weight loss, future promise if you don't cheat on your diet packages, right? And I believe, I think of a call center, like a good call center, as like a sales team, not even a call center.
100%.
And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong today. And this is coming from someone that doesn't run a call center. So keep that in mind.
You're right.
Too.
You're right. It is a sales team.
Should be. And if you're running a call center and you are selling, you have to have an extreme focus on training and investing in that training. And a lot of companies don't want to do that or can't because they don't have the resources to put that training in before you put people on the phone. And this is going to be much more important as the cost of leads go up, because your agent is, the connection rate to the consumer who answers the phone is probably not going to go up in the exact proportion of the cost of the lead, right? You're going to get a little boost in the connection rate, but the cost of the lead is going to go way up. And so it's going to be that much more important that your agents are highly skilled and highly trained, if you're still doing outbound, to be able to sell the products and services. And so it's going to be much scarier to put new call center agents on the floor for leads that are, could be 4, 5, 6 times more expensive, because their cost is going to go up for those new folks. And so I think organizations are going to have to rethink their training process, a couple extra days doing role playing, couple extra days listening to phone calls and talking through what's good and what's bad. And, I've seen a whole lot of call center operations, and the best ones have like dedicated training facilities and classrooms and take the time to really invest in those agents. And you got to have a great environment to do that, because you can't have a revolving door.
It's too expensive. And on that note, if you want unlimited energy like David Stodolak,
go.
This episode is brought to you by Ghost Energy Drink. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I thought we had a new sponsor for real. Like, great. I'm like, wow, I should be drinking.
Let's go.
By the way, Ghost, if you want to sponsor John's pod, please reach out.
I'll drink this on every episode.
That's awesome.
Question.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have this insight being on the backside of Ringba. Can you differentiate a transfer campaign versus an inbound campaign? Or is it just like no specific differentiation?
Technically, no. So telecom's a one-way street. You know, you can only see forward, basically. So when we receive a phone call, the caller ID is part of the protocol. And you can spoof it, right? But generally speaking, there's almost no spoof traffic on our platform. There's no real benefit to doing that, so it's not really a concern. But a transfer call center is going to send a call in. The caller ID is part of the protocol.
Carries over.
Yeah, we receive the caller ID, and that's how you identify where the call came from. Like, this is the person on the phone. We don't actually know that it's a transfer, and there's no way to really know that it's a transfer unless the transfer center is doing something to identify it.
I asked that because I'm curious if either one of you has some rough idea of today, before these regulations go into play, how much of this industry is driven off of aged resold data versus exclusive and or inbound.
You know, it's interesting. Our CTO asked me the other day about my concern on volume related to this. We do carry transfers, there's no doubt about it, but I think like 98% of the volume flowing through Ringba is consumer-initiated inbound call. And so I don't think we'll really be affected by it, but there's also no way to know for sure at the telecom level if it's a transfer or not. And so the end buyers, they have to have really good paperwork, really understand who their partners are in this situation, right? Like the number of highbrow buyers that are going to work with call centers that are not, you know, like clearly doing everything correctly is going to change and shift. I think we're going to see a lot more inbound transfers. I actually think that's the largest opportunity in performance marketing today. Because the cost of the leads are going to go up. A consumer-initiated inbound call is expensive to generate. That's what everyone wants. The middle ground there is like, how do you create something of value but keep your ad costs low? And that's to have an inbound to transfer center where you are taking less targeted traffic and routing it to that center to qualify and then transfer the call. And the FCC has said that this is okay, that walking into a CVS is the equivalent of an inbound call, and so you do whatever you want with the call. And so then that center can downsell the call. If they don't qualify for one thing, they can send them somewhere else. And all of those things are kosher on an inbound. And then with inbounds, you know, if you want to prove to your buyers that they are inbound to transfer, things like Ringba's number pools have been fingerprinting every single inbound call since 2016.
So
right?
if there's ever a complaint,
you can literally
say, look,
literally prove it. Like if you look in your Ringba call logs, for instance, and it came through a number pool, we have the IP address of the user, what type of device they called in, what browser they used, their user agent, their screen density and type, their internet service provider. Like you can clearly see the data you need to show that it was an inbound call to your call center. And so if you ever have an issue, you can just simply be like, here it was an inbound call. And so it's really easy to then package that up and sell that to a call center as an inbound to transfer. And the reason I love that business model too is because you're adding your own layer to the process, and so that call is now your product.
Yep.
Right?
you're becoming closer to like a offer owner, not an advertiser, but yeah.
And like
This gets me excited.
Yeah, when Harrison and I were media buyers, we did all types of campaigns, but we always asked ourselves, like, what are the highest volume traffic sources? And how do we monetize those? And the highest volume traffic sources are usually the cheapest and the least targetable, right? You can't apply demographic layers to it. We don't know what their age is. We get like nothing, basically, but there's unlimited traffic untargeted. And so we would always say, like, how do I take unlimited cheap traffic and pluck out the different segments of gold in it and monetize them? And we got really good at that. And we were able to make a lot of money doing it because it was hard, required work, and no one wanted to put in the time and money to figure it out. And I think those that do the inbound to transfer, it's a similar story, can create some incredible products and like build a really awesome business. And so we do have customers doing this now. And I think there's going to be a huge shift to this type of product over the next couple of years.
Yeah, that's got me excited.
I just texted him yesterday after we talked to Carlos. Literally said, dude, we got to talk about something.
Well, like whenever you guys want to work on that, just let me know. I'm happy to help.
We will.
No, I know how to do it.
It's on the.
That'd be a great podcast episode.
Yeah?
Let's do it. No, that's been on my agenda. I've been working on stuff like that, and now I have more urgency to get that going. And it's just, I got a bilingual call center, especially on Spanish. Spanish is hot as heck, and there's so many products that you can offer.
Very
underserved.
underserved.
Stuff. Very underserved, right?
High margin, too.
Yeah.
Very poorly managed, too. I don't know if
Yes.
you tested, like, even just inbound buyers direct to call
Oh,
centers.
they're horrible.
They're atrocious.
The worst, man. And even when you got a good run with them, it's like a week or two. It's short-lived for whatever reason. I don't know why. But that's one thing that I've been hot on for a while, and now we're really putting that for them. It's one reason why I'm going there in a couple of weeks, down to Colombia, because we're going to build all this stuff out. That's why we're going to Medellin. We're expanding in Medellin, so I have a bigger pool, bigger population, a lot of expats over there.
Yeah.
People that are like, I got a guy in our call center in Colombia, he's from Scotland. Guy kills it. I don't know where, in this small town in Colombia, I don't know where the hell we got a Ukrainian lady that's phenomenal. We put her as she's essentially almost like CEO of one of our companies that we have. I have my partner called Roofs in a Box. She's fantastic. But you have a lot of expats there. You have a lot of people, not just
It's
out
an
of
attractive
Colombia.
city.
Very attractive, yeah.
The Colombian people are amazing. The weather's literally perfect.
Spring all year round.
365 days
Yeah.
a year.
Really?
Yeah, you know, it's called
Come
the
on
City
down,
of Eternal
man. We're
Spring.
waiting
Yeah,
for you.
It's like
Columbia
San
Con
Diego.
too. You're there, baby.
But without June gloom.
Oh.
No June gloom. And
There's no gloom in San Diego.
there's a June gloom. It's overcast till 10 a.m. every day in June. It's a thing.
Okay.
I haven't been there long enough to know. But yeah, I'm excited about that because I see, I'm always looking for I watch the markets every day. Every day I got positions on something, right? So the bottom line is that helps you see what's going on, where's the money shifting, and the Hispanic population keeps growing. They're very underserved.
Well,
no one
there's
works in leads, right?
15 million more of them or whatever in the United States now.
Really?
Well, over the last couple of years, and I don't want to get into politics, but I will get into statistics.
Okay.
There are more undocumented immigrants in the United States in the last 2 years than ever. You should look at the chart. The inflow over the last 3.5 years is just like skyrocketed. It's like more than double. It might be triple. And so there's millions and millions and millions of more.
Boom.
I don't know the correct label, but
Spanish speakers.
Latino, Spanish
Yeah, yeah.
speakers, whatever. No disrespect to anybody. And they're in the United States, and a lot of them are going to be here to stay, no matter what happens in the election,
Yeah.
right? So that population is going to continue to grow and has grown substantially. And so as those people find their life in the country and grow and need things and become more successful, that market you're talking about is just going to become more and more lucrative, even if they close the door on this.
Boom, they're here.
Those, like, those people will be here. So you should check out the chart of, like,
I will.
Illegal undocumented immigration from South America. And, like, look, it is what it is. Again, not politics, but that is an opportunity in the future, right? Like, and so if you think about it now, in 2 or 3 years, there's millions and millions of people that are going to want and need to buy things.
I think there's also now, 3, 4, maybe 5 generations of bilingual first language, or at least Spanish in the home, where they speak perfect English. But now you could focus on that population in a different way and get their attention at usually a cheaper cost from the ad platforms.
Yes.
By
Targeting
approaching them in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Exactly. And people
And
don't
targeting a city like Miami, right? Like, I can't tell you, I do a lot of Ubers here.
Oh yeah,
9 times out of 10, they don't speak any English
100%.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
They expect me to speak Spanish, actually.
Yeah, my Spanish has gotten better here, man. Yo, I'm actually speaking to a Latin convention November 23rd in Spanish, man. I'm pumped up about that. But I want to send me that chart. I'll talk about that because one of the topics of my conversation is that, hey, everyone here is bilingual. We got to really tap in. You got to get in.
Yeah.
So a lot of these guys don't even know about internet marketing. They're old school. They don't know about these laws. So my speech is going to be talking about that stuff, talking about call centers. They're kind of like old school, knock on door kind of businesses. And I want to, hey, there's
the
ways.
best though, man.
That is the best. So yeah, I'm talking about this. So I want to see that the chart you mentioned. I'll talk about that there. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you that my wife's Colombian, my mom's Venezuelan. They love their social media, man. They fucking love it. Talking about TikTok, YouTube, whatever they're on all that stuff, man. And I think they engage more so than other, and they're more likely for word of mouth. Look at this.
Like, look at the.
Dude, that's music to my ears, baby.
It's unbelievable. And I'll send you a better version of this, and
We'll
we
screenshot
can
it, throw it
show
on the video,
we can
yeah.
show it
Yeah.
and throw it on. And the interesting thing is obviously with the elections coming up, I hear all the stuff from everyone on this topic, but the one thing I haven't heard is someone say what I just said,
No one's talking about it. Yeah.
which is whether they're here legally or not, at some point they're going to need to buy something. So this
Products,
is an
services.
underserviced market that means that it is a huge high margin opportunity. And so feel however you want to feel about it, but if you're a capitalist, this exists,
Yeah.
and these are just normal human beings, and like if you like customers, like they still have money.
Exactly. That's what that's what we're in business for. We're here to serve, create value.
Exactly.
Boom.
What are you both most excited about in the next year as we go through this transition?
I mean, I'll be open about my biased position on this. Like the FCC changes are going to cause a lot more consumer-initiated inbound calls, which is great for our business. More importantly, though, I am excited about that opportunity and what it's going to do for the performance marketing ecosystem. We're going to be giving people a lot more go-towards and bigger go-towards.
You're running out of space there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so the most exciting thing for me is how clearly I see this as an opportunity for our industry and folks in our industry that are doing other things right now and don't realize the opportunity. Like, I don't think most people see the vision that I see, but they will. And, I'm working on my second book is wrapped. My third book we're working on right now. And this is going to really help businesses understand how to interact with people like us to grow their business due to this new regulatory change. So, it's hard for me to explain all the details in a short period of time, but this opportunity and shift in the market is incredibly exciting to me. And our friends are going to make tens, hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in the industry. And that's absolutely amazing to me. When I was in my parents' basement doing affiliate traffic 20 years ago, it never even, there were no campaigns where you could do $1 million a month. These things didn't exist. And now literally you walked in past $100 million goat, $100 million goat, $100 million goat. It's littered with other people's success downstairs. Yeah. And it's only getting bigger for our space. So I'm excited for all the people that are going to come in, all of our friends, you guys, everybody that's going to innovate and do well and find more success. And that's what I'm super excited about.
Yeah, I have a similar answer. It reminds me, I was in 2012, I ran a call center. I didn't own the call center. They brought me on as a consultant for a utility services company. This company would have deals with Orlando, Duke Energy, OUC, SoCal Gas and Electric. And I almost didn't take this role, but I saw an article that said utilities aren't so smart about smart meters. And when I read it, I realized, wow, you talk about these utilities are at 50 billion, 100 billion, massive companies. I think our smallest client did 800 million a year, smallest client, right? It's a company in Kentucky. And I realized they don't know anything about the call centers, we weren't even doing lead gen. We were just calling their customers. And I added my element of call center know-how, salesmanship, customer service, which I had to inject sales, and we blew out the water for these guys. And that company, I wish I had structured a better deal, but they want to get bought out, 9 figures, right? But that was my education, is what it was. That when you can connect some dots and provide value to, like, especially aging industries, not that utilities, energy, but they weren't in with the times. They were like old school. I see that going on with home improvement right now. You got these big home improvement companies that really don't know too much about. They don't know about pay per call. They don't know about internet marketing. Their call centers aren't that good. So that gets me and then now they're nervous because of what's going on with the January 27th, the one-to-one consent, because they know, like, so that when you're an expert. And that's what I was saying. Everyone, listen, you got to position yourself as an expert. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing, speaking of all these years, going on podcasts, speaking at the Spanish convention, right? I'm nervous speaking Spanish, but fuck it, I'm going to do it. And I'll figure it out. My wife's
nervioso.
No, estoy un poco nervioso, pero está bien. We're going to do well. The bottom line is that I see this chaos creating opportunity, and I'm confident that all these years of, working for other people, starting my own business, going through these ups and downs, has got me prepared to take advantage of that and to thread that needle like I did with the utility companies back when I was a consultant. I wasn't an owner. Now I'm an owner of several companies. They have solutions for these companies. So I feel like, everything I've done, like, the best is yet to come. And that's why I'm so excited about 2025, because we provide value for these companies. We're going to create more value for them. And 1 + 1 is going to equal 10. Is what it comes down to. So that's really what it comes down to, man. I'm bursting at the seams, man. I can't wait to get this year over with.
John, I know Dave has to go, but I wanna present some questions that the viewers should be asking right now with these changes that are coming, and that is, get your head outside of performance marketing for a second and just think about business in general. What industries are heavily reliant on outbound dialing in small team capacity, right? So a great example of that would be like real estate agents and real estate brokerages. They buy a ton of leads. Like Zillow sells them, all the big websites sell them, and then they call those leads. And so if that is no longer going to be possible for them, or portions of it are no longer going to be possible, how does a 20-person real estate office in Cincinnati, Ohio get leads? Well, they're going to need their phones to ring, right? So how can you do that?
Exactly.
And those people, they're going to want them sent to their cell phones, which means they're not always going to answer. So how do you deal with that, right? Inbound to transfer center, right? And so the questions that people in our industry should be asking are, what segments of any business market, which ones are going to be the most heavily impacted by not being able to buy data leads and call them anymore? Those are the largest opportunities in pay-per-call that don't exist today, but will exist in January. Yeah.
I'll say one thing too related to that. You got to go to those shows, those trade shows.
Yeah.
I love going to shows where I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
That's the freaking best, man. There's one thing, we know all the typical shows. They're all great shows in the industry, don't get me wrong. But everyone's trying to get a piece of a piece, right? It's crazy. So, and how much, what's the word for it? I forgot but it's all, everyone's
incestuous.
Incestuous, that's the word I was looking for. But the point is that if that's how you're making your living, it's almost you start a side hustle within your normal hustle, right? You start going, spend some time. You're spending 10 hours a day on this, on a debt campaign, Medicare campaign. Spend 30 minutes a day learning about what you talk about with real estates, an industry.
Cosmetic dentistry.
Yeah, what a cosmetic dentistry. I know guys that crush it in dental, right? Go to like a fintech show. I was just in Vegas at a home improvement show, but there was a fintech show, Money 2020, and I wanted to go so bad. I didn't have the time, but make the time to show up. Go and take a trip. Go with your family. Hey, I want to check it out for even like half a day. And you'll start having conversations. You'll meet somebody, and then it'll plant that seed in your head, and then boom, who knows where that'll go. But yeah, I think you take what you talked about, Adam. Look at those industries, and industries that are making money where there's billions, hundreds of
Yeah,
billions, trillions
yeah,
of
yeah.
dollars, right? Like I meant utilities.
Yeah.
Utilities, everyone needs energy. They're not going to go anywhere, but how do you create value and position yourself? And that's really where the money is. It's like these aren't niches. The real estate isn't a niche, but you can have your niche within that, right? Then the niches are the riches. You can become the lead guru of that particular industry and make a lot of money. That's what happened with solar back in 2015, 2016. You know, happened to catch some of that wave. You know, so the point is that that's what it comes down to. I mean, everyone's watching this. I mean, for the most part, you should have some sort of know-how about how to generate leads. So how do you use that to take it to the next level? And this is how you do it. Yeah.
Super exciting.
It is exciting, yeah.
Bro, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, I wish we had more time, man. I'm sorry. I wish I got here a little earlier, but this was awesome, man. Gotta do this more often.
Till next time, guys.